Thanks for having me. I think I'm a complete miscast. I'm going to talk about active aging, like if you need that, you're all young people. But still, I will start by nagging a little bit, just to show you how bad it really is. Because aging really is a horrendous problem. And then I'm going to not talk about the solutions I have proposed in the book with a co-author in terms of what should the government do. I'm going to talk about solutions that we can do, largely by ourselves. So I will start by using data from TEDx. And you know Gapminder, which is a good oldie on TEDx, and I kind of manipulated it to show you the point. This is 1800, this thing is not working. Okay, there it is. This is 1800, and what you see here, you see on one axis the life expectancy, that's the standing axis. And on the lying axis, you see children per woman. This is fertility. And what you see in 1800, all countries in the world, and each country is a bubble, all countries in the world, they are having more than 4 children. So women are very fertile. And the life expectancy is below 40, even in so-called developed economies. The colors show continents. So blue would be Black Africa, South Asia, India is the light blue, red is the rest of Asia, the Latin Americas are yellow, and Europe is orange. And what we will show now is how this changes over time. This is the world as it was. A population pyramid, lots of young people, nobody lives very young, a lot of children. And then it changes. This is 1850. Little bit of movement, then 1900. Countries start to move up. Slowly, we are living longer, having less children. And then this is 1950, 1920, 1950. Whoa, spectacular. 1970, oh, everybody's jumping up here. Huh? And then, where do we end up? 1990, and eventually 2009. This is what we call the demographic transition. We're going from a young world with many children to an old world with few children. Actually, this is fantastic. I would say this is a solution, and stop here. The real problem is overpopulation. This is a solution to overpopulation. Having less children and living longer will eventually lead to a stable world population. The problem, however, is we have based our social system on the old population structure. People that work today pay the social security for elderly people today. And of course, if everybody gets older, that's not going to work. So in the past, what we had is the situation where per elderly people, you have 5 people of working age. So there are 5 people to pay for 1 person on a pension. But that has been changing. The problem is we have too many old people for the people that work. In the past, the structure was 1 in 5. So you had 5 people that pay for 1 people that is on a pension. But then it moved till 1 on 4, that's more or less where we are today, a bit less, and it's going to change eventually to 1 on 2. So 2 persons are going to pay for 1 elderly person. So if you put it in a graph, this is how it looks. And this is the situation for Belgium. And then you see that you move from 5, the black line is more or less where we are today, less than 4, and we're going to end up very close to 2. So you're going to have to pay with less people for more people. That is the problem. What does it mean? It means we're going to have to work longer. Why? Well, because of this. The yellow line is the life expectancy. In 1970 it was about 70, 71. Now it's already above 80. The other line, the blue line, is the real age at which you take a pension, the real pension age. And it used to be almost 65, 64 something, and it's going down to about 58. So the average expectation of pension used to be 6 years, and it's now more than 20 years. So not only do less people have to pay for more, but these elderly people also live much longer. The pension is going to take 3 times as long. So simply, it's unpayable. And that's what we have to solve, and that's the nagging part of my presentation. And the last nagging is going to just show you the numbers, how bad it is. What is the left-hand side? Well, on the left-hand side, this is a share of the economy. And you see here, the first thing, that's the cost of aging. And it's going to be 9% of the economy annually. It's recurrently. Every year, you're going to have to fight 9% of the economy to pay the additional cost for the elderly people. But we have a deficit of 2%, which actually we are looking for 11%. What did we do the last years in Belgium? Well, in 2011 we saved 0.3, and 2012 we saved 0.7. So there's some room for additional action here. What could we do? Some people say you have to tax more. Well, okay, this is income taxation here. So we could double the income taxation. That would pay for aging. Instead of 50% tax, we pay 100% taxes. It's going to solve everything. That seems like a very reasonable solution. Another thing is, you could say, you could increase taxes on goods and services, namely VAT. That's also comparable in size to the cost of aging. So you could have VAT rates instead of 21, 42. That's not going to work here. Just to show you, it's really a big problem. The only way we can solve this is going to involve working longer. If you're going to live longer, you're going to have to work longer. That's the only way we can solve this. And then the question is, how do you do that? Some solutions involve different ways of taxation, different labor taxation, but I'm going to talk about other things. Solutions closer to what we do. I'm going to basically bring you 5 ideas, and I'm just throw them already, and I will go over them one by one. The first one is, instead of bridge pensions, we should have bridge jobs. And I'll explain what I mean exactly in a second. Secondly, we should re-engineer the way organizations and companies work. What we do at the moment is we use people as almost something that is disposable. We work them hard, throw them away if they are depleted. We should change that way of thinking. We should also think of life-work balances. If you're going to have to work longer, if you're going to have careers of 45 years, we cannot work as we do today. Run. We will have to find different ways of working that are more sustainable in the long run. We also will have to think about how to share civil skills, and I will explain very explicitly what I mean. And we should connect civil skills to the non-profit, and I will also explain very explicitly what I mean. So let's start with the first one of my ideas, bridge jobs instead of bridge pensions. What is the idea of bridge pensions? At the moment, that's how it works. Elderly people, more than 50, if there is any problem at the firm, dumped in what we call bridge pensions. And what is a bridge pension? The elderly person receives an unemployment benefit, and the firm that is firing him, that firm will pay an additional payment, a side payment, to bridge the gap between the unemployment benefit and the pension. So it feels like a pension. And then when you get at pension age, you get a real pension. That's the idea of a pension, a bridge pension. But really, it's a subsidy for an activity. You lay off this elderly person at 50, and you say, please do not look for a job, at least not in reality, because then you lose all these additional side payments. So people stop working. That's a dumb idea. You should scrap it. On the contrary, we should think about bridge jobs. And bridge jobs is the opposite. What we should do, okay, if for some reason some elderly person is unemployed, is fired, he gets the unemployment benefit. In Belgium it's unlimited in time, so it's quite some protection. And then the firm, instead of paying to that person an additional amount of money so that he doesn't feel he's not on a pension, he should pay this money in a fund. And what this fund will do, this fund will pay the firm that rehires that person. So these elderly people will look for no jobs. The problem is they are too expensive. Well, you're going to make them cheaper because we have this fund that will pay wage subsidies to the new firm organization hiring this person. So it's costing exactly the same amount of money for the firm, but instead of a subsidy for passivity, it becomes a subsidy for activity. Many more people will have a job. That means more people will contribute to the system instead of receive unemployment benefits. And you get a social security system that is much more payable, much more possible. That's the first simple idea. You can do it on a firm level, on a sector level, on a national level. It will involve some resistance. Some people will not like it, but the resistance is always there. And I think we have to start thinking about these changes right now. The second thing is business re-engineering. What we do is think of elderly workers as something we can dispose of, actually as toxic waste. We use them and then, ooh, they're very bad now, we should dispose of them. They kind of pollute my firm almost. But that's a very strange way of thinking. They have competences and skills you actually do want as a firm, but they happen to be too expensive. So how can we change this? Well, one way of thinking about it is, look, in the past, people thought, okay, why can't I use more oil? Why can't I be polluting? It's effective, it's efficient. Actually, it's not. If you redesign your business processes, in the end, you're less polluting and more efficient. You become a better firm. Why not take the same way with silver skills, with people with elderly skills? Let them think about how to re-engineer these processes and let them ask them. Let them tell themselves how they think it should work. There are actually quite a few examples in Belgium and abroad of firms that say, okay, I'm going to redesign my processes and I'm going to work only with elderly people. There's a BMW factory that only works with people older than 50. And it's one of the most profitable manufactories in the whole company. Why? They rethought the processes. People never have to do this. Things just come up. People change positions very often. These elderly people are very loyal. They don't need to be retrained very often. So in the end, it can be very profitable. So you have to rethink the processes. Of course, you also have to rethink the culture that you need to get higher wages if you work longer. If I'm going to be 60, I'm not going to work as hard as I work today. So why should I earn more than I earn today? It's a very strange system if you think of it. And of course that will need to be changed too if you want to make this possible. But you have to start thinking about it. This work-life balance, that's very clear. We as academics, well, most of us are academics, we know the idea of a sabbatical. It's the idea of after 10 years of work, I need fresh ideas, I need a new inspiration. So what I do, I step back from my current job and I walk around. I sniff here and there, I go to a foreign country to sit in the department, to work with them, and to get new inspiration. Why not make this a normal part of any career in any job? Because if you're going to have to work 45 years, and that's where we're heading. We're heading for careers of 45 years. Nobody will want to do the same thing for 45 years. It will become a normal part of career to reorient yourself, to change your career path, to do something new. And to make that possible, people that are responsible in human resources for careers, they should start thinking about how do we facilitate this. Will we put sabbatical periods almost as a requirement? You have to go on sabbatical. You have to kind of think again, reorient yourself, get new ideas. That's something positive, not something that people should demand. And I think that's one way we certainly have to go, so that we have a new balance there. You cannot ask people to work as you do today if you have to work so much longer. It's simply impossible. Of course, what you could also do is sharing silver skills. What I mean is the following. In many companies, some people, some elderly people, have skills that are not usable anymore. But maybe there are other firms, organizations, that could use the skills very well. Why are we so stupid? First to fire these people, then to put them on a bridge pension, and then the other firm looking for these people cannot find them. It's a very inefficient method. Why not put this thing on their heads? Why not, if we say you're 5 organizations, why not basically create a platform and say, look, I'm looking for these and these competences. And the other firms could say, look, I have these people here. I have these silver people, they have these and these competences, but I cannot use it in my firm. Bring the market together so that we share these competences. A concrete example for the government, and I would think of it as a kind of LinkedIn for silver skills. It's a LinkedIn for silver skills. Example, Bpost, which is the Belgian post company. They had a few elderly people. They could not do the physical activity anymore of bringing around the mail. So it's the mail office, they could not do the bagging anymore. And then there was the customs official organization in Belgium. And they were looking for people with a lot of skills that these post people had. So what they did is they came to the post and they kind of internally said, look, we have these places. If anyone of the post company wants to fill it in. And actually they found almost 60 people. So instead of people firing them, these guys saying, I don't want to work anymore, give me a bridge pension, and the customs officials not finding the people they need, bring it together. Create platforms where you exchange competences and open positions. And that's a very simple idea, but we're not doing this at all at the moment. It's something we could do, and the government should lead, because the government has a lot of these possibilities. And the last idea is connecting silver skills with non-profit. What firms do today is they kind of polish their reputations, and they say, look, I'm doing corporate responsibility, or they call it CSR, corporate social responsibility, and I'm doing good projects, I'm being nice to the world, I'm sustainable. And essentially it often amounts to giving money. And at the same time, they lay off their elderly people, their silver skills. But why not think it in a different way? Let's think of it in a very different way. What could you, for example, do? You could say, okay, I have these silver skills here. Somebody is good in PR, someone is good in marketing, someone is good in administration. And we have these non-profit firms, they are screaming for someone to do the accounting. You have the food banks in Belgium, they need someone to arrange logistics, to have optimal logistics. Why not say, instead of this firm paying money, no, the firm is going to donate skills. So what we're going to create is we're going to create a kind of dating website where the companies say, look, I have these and these silver skills and I'm paying them. I'm not paying the non-profit organization money. I'm just donating skills. And the elderly people, the silver skills say, look, I can do this and this and I would like to work in this and this sector. And the non-profit organizations can post their demands. And you make the connection. These people don't need to be fired. They keep their skills, they contribute still to the social security system, and that's real corporate social responsibility. It's a thing we can do. We don't need the government for that. For many of these ideas, we need nobody. It's something we can just do. And we need to do it today, so that indeed social security is still achievable for any of us, for young people. Okay, that's what I have to say. Thank you for your attention, and see you next time.